Hello, welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. And I, of course, am still your host, Paul Markle. And with me in the studio is still Jared Markle. He is my producer. He is the boy wonder. He is the man behind the curtain, making all the magic and wizardry happen. And we're glad that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to join us this week. Or maybe you just use this show as noise while you're on the treadmill. So either way, that's cool, and we're glad that you're here with us. Now, this segment is brought to you by Keltec Weapons of Cocoa, Florida, Colt Manufacturing. Check them out at Colt.com. And, of course, Crossbreed Holsters. You want to check them out at CrossbreedHolsters.com, and they're up there in Republic, Missouri. Now, this week, it's been an extremely busy week for us. If you're a dedicated student of the gun, if you follow us on social media or the website or watch the TV show, listen to the radio, whatever you do, you probably are hip to that fact that it has been a busy week for us. Not only did we do all of the Student of the Gun material this week, but we launched a brand new product, and it's one that we've been kind of teasing you guys with a little bit, and we appreciate the fact that you cut us a break or cut us some slack because we mentioned it, and we're talking about, of course, the Patriot Fire Team. We talked about it back last fall. We threw it out as a concept, and we've kind of been massaging it and discussing it and so forth for the last few months. Well, it's up. It's live. The site is there. You can go there and sign up for the Patriot Fire Team. And I know a lot of you guys out there. I can see you, and girls too. But I can see you guys squirming in your chairs out there. You're like, well, I don't want to get on some kind of a militia list or something like that. I'm like, well, here's the deal. We're not trying to sell you something. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give you some information, give you some guidelines. The Patriot Fire Team website is set up as kind of a guidepost for you. Because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there right now, in the sound of my voice, that are thinking, I should be doing something, or I should be doing more than I'm doing right now. But what? And that's the big question. What can I do? What can I go to work every day. I get up, I go to work, I work in an office, I come home 5 days a week. I'm not a professional soldier or police officer or mercenary or contractor or anything. I'm just a dude. I'm just a guy. But I know that there's something that I should be doing. I am a citizen taxpayer. Well, what we've done is we set up the Patriot Fire Team. And if you want the special report, how to get started, just go to patriotfireteam.com, put in your first name, your email address, confirm it, and you will get immediately the report. And not only that, but you're going to get access to what, Jared? What free stuff do they get immediately for nothing just because they signed up for Patriot Fire Team?
If you go to patriotfireteam.com and you sign up, then you can get the report as Dad said over there. You've got video material, you've got audio material, you've got special discounts. What else?
Yeah, okay, so you get immediate access, you get the special report, Patriot Fire Team. And in that special report is a recommended reading list, things that every patriot, every United States citizen, books that they should read or be very least be familiar with. You get immediate access to video material, to audio material. And thank you very much, all you guys out there in the audience, and the Student of the Gun audience, and now the Patriot Fire Team audience. We threw it out there, last fall, right before Christmas. We said, hey, if we do this thing, are you guys going to want T-shirts? And a bunch of you said, yeah. A bunch of you sent us, notes on Facebook or email or what have you, and said, yeah, I want a shirt. Well, you weren't lying. People have been buying up the shirts, and we're actually one of the first things I'm going to have to do during the new week is go to our T-shirt guy and order some more shirts. So, hey, fantastic. We're hoping that some of these Patriot Fire Team shirts are going to show up at the, in Connecticut and Colorado and places where they're protesting all these illegal and unconstitutional gun laws. We're hoping that some of the people in the audience will show up with these shirts on.
Are they allowed to import those shirts?
I don't know. We might have to sneak them in. We might have to have Han Solo put them in the special smuggling compartments of the Millennium Falcon and smuggle them into New Jersey or Colorado, maybe even into Connecticut.
if you guys have a shirt and you have a cool instance that you wore it in, or if you went to a protest and you were wearing that shirt, take a picture of it and post it to the Student of the Gun Facebook.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so Patriot Fire Team, it's up, it's running. Go to patriotfireteam.com. It's just like it sounds, and check it out. Now, this week we're going to talk about a lot of material. We've got some hardware news for you guys. We've got material about slave states. We've got a lot of stuff, so hold on to your hats and get ready. Now, as you guys know, if you're fans of Student of the Gun, you know that every single week we do a XS Sites Good Guy of the Week. We go through our the first place Jared searches is he goes to forums.studentofthegun.com, and there's a special section in there that says Good Guy of the Week, win free stuff. And if we pick your question, then you are the Good Guy of the Week. And the reason we pick these, looking for them as something that we think everybody, information everybody would want to talk about. People are like, well, what's your favorite 1911? Well, that's not really something that helps you guys out there. But this question that we're going to talk about this week, we think it's something that will help everybody in the audience. Jared, tell us who our Good Guy of the Week is and what was their question.
We actually had a couple of questions asked on this subject this week. So I picked the question with the most in-depth, like you could be more in-depth with it so we give them more information. And our Student of the Week this week is Larry Sutton. Larry, if you can email me your information, I need your shirt size, your home phone number, and your address, obviously, to send it. And Larry's question was, is it a good idea to have concealed carry insurance? And would the prosecutor tear you apart for having such a policy?
We hear this a lot. We hear the naysayers, the you shouldn't do this, the people that'll tell you, the street corner lawyers or the gun shop attorneys, they give you this advice. And it's not just about insurance. It's about anything you purchase. You'll have people that, oh, don't buy hollow point ammo, because if you use hollow point ammo, then the prosecution will tear you apart. Or don't buy this kind of gun, or don't own T-shirts that have gun sayings on them, or blah, 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 blah. All these things, everyone's all worried about what's going to happen in court. And it's not that you shouldn't consider that, but we got to have our priorities straight first. All these guys that give this advice about, oh, you shouldn't own a this and you shouldn't own a that, and you shouldn't carry extra ammo and you shouldn't carry a second gun and you shouldn't do all this stuff because you'll get in trouble in the aftermath. Well, first of all, what those people are not thinking about is, what is your first priority in a lethal force encounter? To stay alive. First of all, focus on staying alive. Focus on doing everything you need to do to keep yourself and your family alive and unharmed. Okay, check. We did that. Now, what are we going to do afterwards? Well, first of all, we've talked about this. Anybody in America, anybody can be sued at any time for anything. People get sued for the most stupid things in the United States of America. But specifically to the insurance, well, if let's say, what do we know off the top of our head, Jared? U.S. Concealed Carry has insurance. The NRA has insurance. There's a company called Texas Law Shield, which is also U.S. Law Shield, that offer pro-Second Amendment insurance programs and legal advice and so forth. And people are like, well, I don't know if I want to get that. Well, if you don't want to get it, fine. That's cool. Don't get it. Often check your homeowner's policy. Your homeowner's policy will generally cover you in that situation. And that's most of the time, that's the place that you want to go to immediately is your homeowner's insurance policy. And if you want to, go to State Farm or Nationwide or I don't care who, go to your insurance company and make sure that you're covered. Say, if somebody breaks into my house, tries to hurt me and my family, and I stop him, I stop them, am I covered? And it's no different than, you being covered because someone comes into your house and they slip on your wet floor and, they fall and break their leg and they want to sue you, that kind of a deal. Now, it's as easy as this. If you ever are represented, or if you ever go to court, you will need representation from not only an attorney, but hopefully your attorney will secure expert witnesses. And it goes something like this. Mr. Markle, is it not true that prior to the date in question and the shooting incident that you went out and you secured concealed carry weapon permit holder insurance? Yes, I did. Did you do that because you knew that you were planning and intending to shoot the scumbag in question? No. And a good attorney will say, "Objection, Your Honor." What's that? And they'll say, "Do you have car insurance?" Well, yeah, of course I have car insurance. Well, why? Well, because it's the law. All right. What if it wasn't the law? If it wasn't the law, would you still have car insurance? Well, yeah, of course I would. Why? Because you're a bad driver and you were going out and you were intending to smash into other cars? Well, no, of course I wouldn't. Well, it's the same thing. And that kind of stupidity from an opposing attorney is pretty easy to knock out of the water. And what you're not trying to convince the judge, and you're not trying to convince me, and you're not trying to convince anybody else. What you're trying to do is you're trying to convince 12 people in a jury box that is reasonable. That's when you look at the 12 people in the jury box and you say, "Do you have a fire extinguisher in your house?" And they all they nod their heads and they're like, "Yeah."
What if one of those 12 people is one of the people that does not?
Does not? Then you're like, "I don't even know what to say to you, dude." But they're like, "Well, yeah. Well, why? Because you're reckless and you like to play with matches?" Well, no, of course I'm not reckless and I don't like to play with matches. That's stupid. Why would you say that? Well, obviously you're planning to have a fire because you have a fire extinguisher. You have fire insurance on your house? Well, yeah. Why? Same thing. Because you're reckless and you like to leave open fires in your house just in case. Or you could even really go devil's advocate. What you could say, based on this attorney's, this thing of, well, if you get concealed carry insurance, they'll say that you deliberately plan to shoot someone. Do you have homeowner's insurance on your house? Yes. Does it cover fires and loss in a fire? Yes. So you bought that so you could deliberately burn your house down and collect the insurance money, right? So every person who buys fire insurance on their home is doing so because they're premeditating an arson. Well, obviously not.
And what does Dad always say? He always says that if the prosecutor cannot legitimately prove that you're guilty, then he's going to start picking apart your hardware, what you have instead of the actual incident.
If the facts are against them, if they're looking to crucify you, we talked about this last week. If they're looking to crucify you to build their career, and the facts are against them, it's a justifiable shoot. Then what they're going to do is they'll try and create doubt in the mind of the jury by bringing up your choice of caliber. And it doesn't matter. There is no caliber that you can pick that's going to be lawyer friendly. They're going to say, "Oh, well, I'm glad you picked that one because that proved," no. If you pick 9mm, if you pick 45, if you shoot someone with a 22, then you're like, well, yeah, there's no way they can pick that apart. Really? Could an attorney say that the 22 caliber is used in more assassinations and poaching incidents than any other caliber? Oh, yeah. So quit worrying about do what you know is right. Do what you know is correct. And quit worrying about what other people are gonna think or say. If it's correct and you know it's correct, then quit worrying about people attempting to tell lies about you, because you can't stop that. You can't stop the opposing attorney from bending the truth and attempting to distort the facts, and just so they can garner increase their electability or get themselves some political points.
What was that movie? There was a movie, I think it was like Finding Nemo or something. It was a Disney movie that said, or a kid's movie of some sort, where there was a mosquito and he was going to be a lawyer, and he said, "Oh, I figured I was already a blood-sucking parasite. All I need is a briefcase."
Oh, I wasn't Finding Nemo. It was A Bug's Life.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. A Bug's Life. So if you don't know it, go back and rent the video. So there you go. We've got blood-sucking parasites that just need briefcases. All right, moving on. Let's talk. We're going to give you some firearms talk, and we didn't get to this last week because, quite frankly, we had so much stuff to do that we kind of put it off. But Jared and I and Zachary, we were out at the range last week, did a whole bunch of shooting, and we had a lot of products to test and evaluate. And something that we're working on for Student of the Gun is aftermarket trigger evaluations. And we've got several aftermarket triggers specifically for black rifles, for AR-15s, that we've been working with. Now, here's the caveat. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are just planning on doing basic rough work with your gun, let's say I'm going to shoot cardboard silhouettes at no greater than 25 yards, and I'm not going to compete. I'm not going to hunt with it. I'm not going to do anything fancy. It's just a basic gun. That's cool. Chances are really good that the trigger that is in the gun that came with it is going to work for you just fine. Changing out a trigger or changing parts doesn't make you a better shooter. Okay, it doesn't translate skill. Unfortunately, men being men, they think that they can spend money to avoid training and practice. Well, if I just buy more gadgets and widgets and gadgets and strap them on my gun, then that'll negate the need for me to actually dedicate the sweat and time and effort to train. Wrong. You've got to have the skill. If you want to make use of the gear, you need the skill. Now, let's say you're going to shoot competitions with your rifle, whether it's 3-gun, whether it's long distance match, target grade shooting. Maybe you're going to take your rifle out to the prairie dog fields and you're going to shoot, little 6-inch desert rats at 300 yards. Well, if you're going to do that, you probably want a really crisp, well-built trigger. And this is where our topic comes into play. Now, the great thing about Gene Stoner's design is the fact that it's so easy, it's so simple to work on. You can do it with a little bit of instruction. And I mean, unless you're dense as a rock, unless you're like sharp as a bowling ball, you can sit at your bench, follow the instructions, and do it. It takes a couple of just regular old tools, a punch and a mallet and so forth, and a screwdriver. And you can install your own aftermarket trigger. And there's a lot of companies out there right now that are making fantastic triggers that are really simple to install. It's 2014. Just follow the YouTube video. I'm sure they've got a video. Get your laptop, put it in front of you on your bench, and hit play, and just step by step watch the installation video.
I think most of our audience is adults. Do adults? They don't watch videos on the internet, do they?
I think adults do watch videos on the internet. So who are we talking about this week? Well, specifically, we've got two. We've got the TacCon trigger, TAC-CON trigger from TacFireCon.com. And Jared will put these things in the show notes for you if you want to check them out. Now, the thing that's really, really unique about the TacCon trigger is what? Well, if you've been following what's going on the internet lately, what they've done is they've manufactured a citizen legal 3-position AR-15 trigger. And you're like, what? How can that be? I thought it was illegal. And I tell you what, if you're in New Jersey or Connecticut, it probably is. Even though it is legal, they'll probably figure out a way to make it illegal. But what you can essentially do is the TacCon trigger, it has safe. Position 1 is safe. Position 2, straight up and down with your selector lever there, is semi-automatic. And then position 3, you're like, well, it can't be full auto without a tack stamp, right? You're right. It can't be full auto without a tack stamp. And as a matter of fact, that you can't, you as the peasant are forbidden to own newly manufactured fully automatic weapons because peasants can't be trusted with those, as I'm sure you know. What I call position 3 the go fast position. And I stole that from my buddy Dave. But the go fast position, it's a very rapidly resetting trigger. You'll have to take a look at it to see how it works. But the fact is, when you put it in the position 3, it has a very rapid mechanical reset, and you can work the trigger very, very quickly. And it takes some practice. You can't just pick it up and shoot full auto with it. It doesn't work like that. But once you get behind it and once you get on that gun, and with a good firearm, with a good muzzle brake system and a good hold on the gun, you can put rounds on target pretty quick, can't you, Jared?
Yeah, it might take one magazine to get used to it, really, because when I started, what was it, last weekend that we went to the range? Yeah, I went through one mag and then I had it down. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So TacFireCon.com, they're the TacCon trigger. Check them out. Now, and that is something that you can install yourself. Basically, you just sit down, follow the instructions, remove the original trigger, take the new unit, put it back in, put the trigger pins back in, secure it, put the gun back together, you're ready to go. It's literally a 15-minute switch out. Now, the next one is my buddy Scotty McGregor recommended this trigger system to me, and it's from a company called Hyperfire.com. And if you go to their website, you'll see that they have several different kinds of aftermarket triggers for AR-15s. And they're a little bit unique in today's market because it's not a single piece unit. A lot of the triggers you buy, these aftermarket triggers, are just like it's like a little aluminum box, and there's a trigger sticking out of it, and all the components are inside the box, and you can't see them. Well, the Hyper Touch trigger, or Hyperfire Touch trigger, the Hyperfire trigger is a little bit unique in that you can choose the spring weight. When you get the trigger set itself, it has everything you need to install it, and then it has different colored springs. And you can choose or decide the weight of the trigger springs. So it's kind of cool. You can do it yourself. It does require a bit of effort. I mean, you have to actually pay attention. I know and you have to read the directions and follow the directions. And I know that might disqualify some of you guys out there in the audience. You're like, what? I got to read directions and I have to actually follow the directions? Oh, forget that. I'll just pay somebody to do it. And you can always do that. You can always pay somebody to do it. But now the Hyperfire triggers, they are, two position. They're safe and shoot. Very, very rapidly resetting. A very good, crisp trigger system. We had those. We had the two guns out. We had two AR-15s out. One with the TacCon and one with the Hyperfire, and we were running them like crazy. And we were very pleased with the performance of both. So if you're looking for a competition gun, if you're looking for a hunting gun, if you're looking for a gun to play games with or to get out to the field or what have you, or just something that you can get down and shoot very, very small groups, do very meticulously. These triggers are good triggers, and they appear to be very solid. The TacCon trigger, we're on probably, 1,000+ rounds now, Jared? I would say between several range trips, going over to going over to the Red Jacket, hanging out, shooting that with those guys. We put a lot of ammo. We took the TacCon trigger. We just took the lower over to Baton Rouge and visited our buddies at Red Jacket Firearms. Zach's got a 7-inch AR-15 upper with a Red Jacket can on it. We took it back in the tunnel. Some of you guys might have seen the video, and we ran the snot out of that gun for like almost a whole afternoon.
Zach must be catching up on the episodes because he commented on the one where we called him out for having an old phone.
Oh, well, a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, he left us a comment on there.
Yeah, we called him out for having an old flip phone. But, yeah, Zach's a good guy. We put several hundred rounds through that trigger system, with that trigger system just that day. So I guess the reason I brought that up is because the TacFire gun we've got right now has got 1,000+, and the Hyperfire one, we probably only got about 200-300 rounds through it, but we're going to continue to test them. Oh, we have a third one. Jared, do you want to talk about the third one that it's in the queue to start to work with, and we haven't touched it yet, from Tom Veer and Veer Manufacturing?
Yeah, I was actually just looking up his business card so I can contact him.
Oh, okay. Well, stay tuned because there's another company that is coming up with a drop-in AR-15 trigger, and their big thing is they want to provide a quality product that everybody with a black rifle can afford. So it's Veer, V-E-H-R.
We have one in our hands, and we're going to put it together here.
Yeah, Jared has one, and he hasn't installed it in an AR-15 yet, so we're going to have to get on that sometime this week. All right. Are you guys ready for it? I know I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it?
I like to teach you all the rules. I get to see them set in stone. I like it when you chain me to the bed.
All right, it's time for some more slave state music. And these might not be slave states, but these are people who want the states they live in to become slave states. Now, during a previous episode, we referenced a Missouri Democrat named Randy Dunn, who decided that he was going to put forth a bill that said that before you could use deadly force to defend your own life as the victim of a crime, as a person who's being attacked, that you would have to demonstrate that you attempted to retreat first. He wanted to put that in there. He wanted to make it so that the victim had to demonstrate the attempt not to use deadly force to save their bodies. And we called that, what did we call that? The Criminal Defense Bill of 2014 or something like that. Well, we've got yet another one, and this comes from an unlikely state. This comes to us from South Carolina. Now, we know South Carolina is not currently a slave state, but we've got a guy, his name is, and he could be a douche nozzle this week too. Oh, Harold Mitchell. Harold Mitchell in South Carolina, Democrat from South Carolina, has put forth a bill, and he wants the same thing in South Carolina. And what makes it even better is he says he is totally against stand your ground laws and says they should need to be repealed. Well, first of all, Randy and Harold, if you know Randy and Harold, you might ask them, who exactly are you concerned with? Whose safety and well-being are you concerned with? Are you concerned with the safety and well-being of the citizen taxpayers? Or are you concerned with the safety and the well-being of apparently your voting bloc and your demographic, the criminal, the felon, the home invader, the rapist? Those are the people that you're really concerned about. You want to make sure that rapists and home invaders and felons and kidnappers, you want to make sure that they get a fair shake, that they get their fair, we can't just be shooting rapists. We need to attempt to retreat. And what does he say here? He said something that's like, it's insulting. Jared, where is it? It's a quote from Harold Mitchell, and every thinking person in the United States that hears this should be insulted by this, and it tells you where this guy's mind is. Where is it? It says about walking away. Oh, here we go. This is from Harold Mitchell, a Democrat from South Carolina. He says, the government should not tell people to confront force with force rather than walk away. So here's what old Harold Mitchell and his buddy Randy want is they don't think the government should endorse you, the peasant, using force to protect yourself against unlawful and illegal force applied to you by robbers, thieves, felons, home invaders, rapists. They don't want you to feel that you can use force to stop those people. They feel that the government should be endorsing a plan of just walking away. Jared, did you know that was an option? Did you know that that when someone breaks into your home, smashes down your front door, and 3 crack addicts, when they come in, did you understand that one of your options is walking away?
No, I don't really know how to retreat in that kind of instance.
Walking away. Hey, Harold, have you ever heard of rape? Do you think it's wrong for felons to rape women or men? Do you think that's wrong? So, Harold, are you telling the rape victims in South Carolina that they should exercise the option of walking away? I bet they didn't know that. I bet the woman that Evie Hudak was talking to, maybe Evie should have told her that one of her options instead of using a gun would be to just walk away. Folks, this is insulting. It's ridiculous. This is like, are we living in some kind of upside down parallel universe here where you have elected officials in your state houses that want to tell you, the citizen, that you shouldn't be resorting to deadly force to stop felonious criminals? You should just walk away.
So call me an extremist here, but
You're an extremist.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. So standing your ground, let's look at it from the standpoint of not just when criminals enter your home or from a criminal standpoint. What happens if this not standing your ground becomes common? The behavior of retreat, it becomes common. Where does it go from there?
What you do is well, the quote from the title, and this is from Captain Lloyd Williams, USMC 5th Marines, Ura, 5th Marines, 6th Marines, both proud owners of the French Fourragère for all the butt kicking they did in Belleau Wood in World War I. But when a French officer suggested to the Marines that they retreat in the face of the advancing German army, Captain Williams said, "Retreat? Hell, we just got here. Retreat. Why should you retreat?" Now, are we telling you to stand out in the open and just, accept bullets that are coming your way? No, obviously not. Are we telling you that it may be a good idea to move your feet and get to somewhere else? Yes. Are we telling you is that your only plan? No. And that's what these people will tell you. That's what these liberal do-gooder, hippie, dope-smoking maggots like Randy Dunn and Harold Mitchell, people of that ilk will tell you that your only option or plan should be to run away. Well, why are they teaching you? And after we did the thing from Missouri, we got word from Missouri back from our Missouri people, and they said, though, yeah, we know who this guy is. He's a turd, but don't worry, that's never going to pass. That'll never pass the House. Okay, cool, we got you. And then same thing in South Carolina. We put this story up on Student of the Gun's Facebook when it first broke, and people in South Carolina are like, yeah, there's no chance in hell, you have a better chance of ice water in hell than that passing. So, okay, if that's the case, now we need to go back to what do we know? Why do politicians endorse bills and plans and ideas that they know are going to fail? Even though they know that they're doomed to failure, why do they still do it? I mean, they're not stupid. They know that it's not going to pass in South Carolina. Well, what did we learn? What did you learn from Professor Paul many, many episodes ago? They do this to establish the argument. They do this, they put these things out there so that somehow it will, grow legs or roots, and then now you've got people actually debating whether or not you should use force to defend yourself against a felon, a robber, a rapist, a home invader.
Why are we even debating this?
That's why they do it. They put it out there, and so what happens? You get news stories. You have to deal with it. That's that'd be like a professional rapist putting out a bill, sponsoring a bill that says that rape under certain circumstances is okay. And, of course, people would freak out, blah, blah, blah. Well, what happens? We talked about this. In 1990, the Democrats in the C-word people there were trying to get the U.S. government to take over 1/7 the economy through healthcare. They wanted to take over healthcare in the early 90s. And people at the time, people aren't like, yeah, that'll never pass. There's no way. Well, yeah, it didn't then. But what happens? They put this stuff out there and they establish it as a semi-valid point or something that's worth discussing or something that's worth talking about. And so what you've got here is you have two. Now, I'm going to throw this out there because, hey, I'm bold. I'm assuming that there are people in my listening audience. There are people in the listening audience of Student of the Gun Radio that don't have the same skin tone as me, Paul Markle. I'm betting that there are gentlemen and ladies out there that have a different skin tone than mine because Randy Dunn and Harold Mitchell don't have the same skin color as me. They have a darker skin color. Now, what I'm going to ask you, is there someone explain to me why it would be that A, Democrats, and B, people of color would come out with bills that are trying to reduce the ability or the legality of citizens defending themselves against criminals. Why would that be? Answer the question yourself. Ask that question. Who is it that Randy Dunn and Harold Mitchell are really concerned about? Are they concerned about you? And do laws like this, do bills like this, does gun control de facto harm or put more people who live in urban areas, cities, areas where there's high crime? Does that put them in greater jeopardy than they would already be? We know what's going on up in Detroit, and I can't believe that the victims of these home invasions that have been advised by the chief to arm themselves, I can't believe that these are all, biracial incidents here. And are they trying to tell people, well, only if you have a certain skin tone you're allowed to defend yourself? What's going on with that? And you need to ask yourself that. Are these people representing you, or are they representing the interest of the professional criminal? So, Jared, how are we doing over there on time? I'm always that guy who wants to know.
We're coming up here on 35 minutes right now.
Okay, so we got time to move on to the next subject. And before I leave you, though, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this little tidbit. If it's something that you learned from the Martin/Zimmerman issue, this is what I knew the moment it hit. You're like, well, why did they prosecute him? Because, first of all, after the original arrest, they did not find enough evidence to file charges. So why, months later, did they all of a sudden decide to file charges? Well, they did that, and why did all the race baiters like Jackson and Sharpton and what have you, all these race pimps who make their living trying to keep people divided? Don't kid yourself, they do. They survive. If there was ever, quote unquote, racial equality in America, these pimps like Jackson and Sharpton and Farrakhan, they'd be out of a job. So they're banking on keeping you divided. Well, what were they trying to convince you? Not with the actual trial, but when they convicted Zimmerman, when they convicted him in the court of public opinion, when they convicted him in the newspapers and on the nightly news. Because that's what they did. They had him already convicted in the news long before it ever went to trial. Well, what is the purpose of that? Obviously, CNN can't put George Zimmerman in jail, and Al Sharpton can't put him in jail. So what's the point? The point is not so much Zimmerman as an individual, it's you. The message they were sending was not to Zimmerman. They were sending the message to you, the armed American citizen, you, the taxpayer, you, the person who thinks that you should be allowed to carry a firearm to defend yourself against unlawful attack. You're the person the message was sent to. And the message was this: you better not do it. Because even if you're right, even if it turns out that the facts of the case support your actions, we're still going to crucify you. We're still going to come after you. We're still going to ruin your life. That was the message that they were sending to you. So just let the criminals do what they want. They want to rape you. They want to rob you. They want to beat you. They want to harm your children. Just be a good witness and wait for the insurance settlement and hope you don't end up dead. That was the message that was sent out. So keep that in mind when you see things like this from old Harold Mitchell and Randy Dunn. Who exactly are they concerned with? And retreat hell, we just got here. Now, this next story came to us from our email bin, and it's a Brazilian surveillance footage. It's kind of, the whole thing's in Portuguese. But a criminal with a knife attacks a store manager, shoots it, and the store manager shoots him with a pistol, and the criminal runs out of the store. Now, we watched this video, and Jared will put the link up for you. And it's not really any good for radio, but the reason I wanted to mention it was because it's an actual good example of what really happens when human beings are shot with handguns and how fast deadly force scenarios can materialize.
You mean they don't make bullets that throw you across the store and make you go through the window? And
No.
Oh, well, I'm disappointed now.
Yeah, I know. You're bummed out.
I don't even think I want to carry a gun anymore.
Yeah, you're thinking like Lethal Weapon, where you shoot someone and they fly backwards out a plate glass window and fall 3 stories. Nope. But if you get a chance to watch this, what you need to understand is this: number one, when you're watching the video, it looks like the bad guy is punching the store manager. It looks like he's punching him. Well, he's actually stabbing him. And most people that are victims of stabbings, that are of assaults where they've been stabbed, quite often what they'll tell you in the aftermath, as you know, police officers, you're interviewing them and talking to them and so forth, is that they didn't realize they were being stabbed until they'd been hit several times. They get hit and they're like, bam, bam, and it hurts and it hurts. And then all of a sudden they see the red stuff leaking out of them. They realize, oh, that wasn't a punch. There's something sharp attached to that, and now I'm bleeding. These fights, these attacks, knife attacks, gun attacks, they materialize very, very rapidly. And if you're carrying a gun for self-defense, you need to understand this, and you need to be prepared for the sheer violence of the situation. Now, the good news is the manager lived, even though he got stabbed several times. And another good news is the bad guy died. The manager shot him with a handgun, but it didn't pick him up. It didn't throw him across the room. He still had enough gas in the tank to realize, oh, this isn't any fun anymore. I'm going to try and get out of here. And he used that energy to get out, but then he died.
I translated the page here, and the literal translation of the last sentence says, the criminal died near the site while hospitalized following officer stabbed. So did he stab an officer?
Wow, I don't know. I think we better.
Well, I mean, did he make it out? And because I don't know. Anybody that has news of this story that's in English, we would like a link, because I can't find any links that are in English.
All right. Well, the last one we're going to talk about right here is we're going to talk about this some more public school tyranny. And why do we do, or what do we do when we do public school tyranny? Well, of course, we're going to give you a special vagination report update.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
All right, we hope that you appreciate our dearly departed friend there, Tiny Tim, for giving you the vagination report update. Well, what have we told you? What have we told you about liberals and progressives and like-minded people? That it's not about the actual object. It's about the actual thought of the object. It's not about actual guns. It's knowing that they exist in the world that drives these people crazy. That they want to rewrite history. They want to brainwash the entire population of the world so that you forget that there ever was a firearm. Well, no, let me check myself there. That you forget that there were ever firearms in the hands of the citizen. Because what do we know? We know that progressive liberal scumbags have no problem after every, quote, shooting incident, every active shooter, every suspect at large, every time you have one of these type of incidents, what do we see all over CNN, NBC, Fox, what have you? We see employees of the state running all over the landscape with evil black rifles in their hands, shotguns and rifles and pistols. And the hippie liberal dope smokers, they don't have any problem with that. You ever notice that, Jared? After, a Columbine or a Sandy Hook or anything, the Boston, after that, and you've got hundreds, if not thousands, of state employees running all over the landscape in public with black rifles in their hands. The reporters at CNN and MSNBC, they never seem to pee down their pants that that's happening. So what do we know? Well, we know that it's only guns in the hands of you, the peasant citizen, that really bothers them. But it's not guns in your hands that bothers them. It's the existence or the thought. And this story comes to us from Breitbart.com. And the story is 16-year-old student suspended for refusing to turn NRA shirt inside out. That's right. Parents of 16-year-old Shane Kinney confirmed that their son was recently made to serve a one-day in-school suspension for refusing to turn his NRA shirt inside out or change into another shirt. And there's a picture of the shirt on the website. Here, it's the normal NRA symbol, the eagle in the middle and the red NRA. And what's behind it? Well, there's 2 crossed rifles that the symbol sits on top of. But the big thing is it says Second Amendment shall not be infringed. And what do we know?
Well, those aren't even Evo Black rifles. They're flintlocks.
Yeah, it looks like one of them's a flintlock and one of them might be a scope bolt action or something. But the fact is that, well, I mean, if you can get kicked out of school for a level 2 look-alike gun, certainly a picture of a gun.
Did you see somebody commented, it was on our Facebook or the app or something, that somebody said they were watching Roseanne?
Oh, yeah, and 1991, the little DJ character kid chewed his Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun.
Yeah. Oh, God forbid he does that now.
Woo! Oh, well, maybe we need to go back and sue that production company for putting that idea into the kids' minds. But this took place in Grand Island High School in New York, and we know that New York is currently under siege. And shame on you for electing all those liberal Democrats. But more public school tyranny. We're gonna put down our thought police on you. We're gonna send our thought police out, and even if you wear a T-shirt that says Second Amendment on it, we're gonna make you turn it inside out, or we're gonna punish you. Now, why do you think that would be, folks? Why do you ask yourself? What interest does this public school have in censoring kids' T-shirts? And I'm not talking about T-shirts with 4-letter words on them or offensive things or pictures of naked women or what have you. I'm talking about a shirt that says, do they teach the Constitution in high school? Do they still do that? I know they did, 20, 30 years ago, but have they found that the Constitution and the Bill of Rights are now extremist and we're not going to talk about them anymore?
I actually liked what the parents had to say about the matter. They didn't apologize for their son not turning his T-shirt inside out. They said that the important lesson in all this is to stand up for what you believe in.
Well, amen. And we're going to go ahead and give the Vagination Award to the people, to the administration at the Grand Island High School in New York. We want to go ahead and give them a Vagination Report Award. Congratulations. For your efforts to psychologically terrorize the students and the youth of America. Congratulations.
We're going to get a trophy that says VADREP Award.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah, VADREP Award, and we're going to mail it to them. I haven't quite figured out what the item on the trophy is going to be, but we'll figure something out.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Okay, that brings us up to the conclusion of segment number 1 of Student of the Gun Radio this week. And we want to thank our sponsors, Keltec, Colt, Crossbreed, and, of course, Excess Sights and our Excess Sights Good Guy of the Week. Don't forget that the Student of the Gun television show is on every Monday night at 9 p.m., Dish Network, Channel 266. Check that out. You can download the app, the Student of the Gun app, for your iPhone or your Android phone for free. Just go to Google Store or your iTunes Store and check that out. And remember, you're a beginner once, but you should be a student for life.